All right, let's just see if this is working. Morning, squad. All right, checking in the groups. Oh, it's a big. Jesus. All right, let's have a look. All right, be awesome if you let me know if you can see me. And yeah, I'm coming through. Awesome. It looks really good. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Live in here. Let's get live on Instagram. All right, awesome. Good morning, everyone. God, I'm sorry that it's a massive photo of my head today. Very sweaty one too. I'm so glad it's not smell-o-vision because I stink after CrossFit this morning. So if you have never done rope climbs before, I suggest you have a crack at them. It's a lot of fun, but it's very taxing on the body, I'll tell you that. Good morning, Ashley. Lovely to see your beautiful words because I can't see your face. How are you today? Thanks for joining. As always, hey, Sarah, how are you? If you have any questions you want answered live, if you could please send them through on the chat. If not, send me a DM and I'll answer them for you pretty quickly if I can. I can't seem to see Facebook's a dick sometimes. It just won't let the messages come through. So I might just get stuck into today's Q&A. So yeah, if you haven't been to Q&A before, welcome aboard to all our new people in the academy. It's lovely to see you. I onboarded about 30 of you last night. It was pretty awesome. Such a big call to have. So it's good to see that the biz is growing really, really well and people are actually looking after their health this year, which is really, really good. 2025 is going to be a big year for a lot of people. So I just want to make sure that everybody has some goals in place and that they're set for making a massive impact in 2025. So should be a pretty good time for everybody. All right. One more little box to tick. I'm just making sure I've gone live on my profile and we are good to go. All right. So this morning, Q&A is about a bit of nutrition training, a bit of mindset, like normal, and it's the top sort of 30 questions from last week that our clients have asked in the academy, and I like to answer them in a big forum. That way, anybody out there that's watching can get some form of value, and hopefully, it's makes you make a right decision in life these days. It's especially when it comes to do with your fat loss or your weight loss. So let's crack on. All right, how many calories should I be eating per day? Okay, broad question for a broad answer. It absolutely depends on your goals, whether you want to lose weight, gain weight, or maintain weight. So the for those of you that aren't with us, there's the quickest way is to use a calorie calculator that you can do online that will basically give you roughly what your estimated maintenance calories should be. And then for me, if you are going to start losing weight, you'd aim for a 500 calorie deficit per day for your weight loss goal, or if you want to put on weight, we'd be starting to look at gradually increasing week by week of maybe 100 to 200 calories per day. That's what I would do. But don't overthink it. Just set what is your goal first. Are you here to lose fat, gain muscle, or maintain? And then we work out what your calories should be from there. It's a pretty simple thing to work out, but if you do need help, let me know. I'm more than happy to help you out. What's the best way to track my food intake? I think first and foremost is be mindful of what you're actually eating. Like look at the food labels, make sure it's fitting in with your calories per day. If you want to track it properly, be using an app like MyFitnessPal. There's a few others out there, I'm not sure, but we use MyFitnessPal because it's free. It's very simple to use. It's got a pretty big database. You've got to be really honest with yourself if you really want to track. Like, I mean, tracking everything, even if you have sneaky chocolate or cookies or something like that. If you really, really want to be accurate, we must do that. But also measuring your portion sizes to make sure that you are adding in 200 grams of chicken breast or 250 grams of chicken breast, something like that. So we want to be mindful that we are actually being honest with ourselves and tracking our nutrition 100%. That's the only way you're going to be able to know how much calories you're actually intaking per day. Okay, so that's the best way to track it. But being mindful of what you're eating is first and foremost getting an understanding. Like I like people to know what the calories they currently are on before they start with me, i.e., are they on 4,000 a day, 3,000? It's not uncommon. And then going down to, hey, Julie, going down to the, a deficit, something like an 1,800 calorie deficit or something like that per day. Do I need to cut out carbs to lose weight? No, you don't. I think we answered this last week. Carbs are not your enemy. It's calories that are your enemy. If we talk purely about weight loss, fat loss, okay? Their carbs are not your enemy. We need carbs to survive. Okay, we do. So just be mindful that you have to have them. Carbs and fats are mandatory. Okay, you really, really do, unless you're on a restriction for whatever reason. Okay, so carbs are not your enemy. It's calories that are your enemy. So low carb diets can help speed up the process of fat loss, but they're just not sustainable. You'll end up eating more and more of your favorite carb because you're denying yourself from it. So it's like anything in life, moderation is the key. If you can roughly get 40% of your intake per day of protein and the rest made up of fats and carbs, you're doing pretty good for yourself. Is intermittent fasting safe for people over 40? Yeah, 100%. It sure is. Is fasting a silver bullet to fat loss? No, it's not. The main goal for fasting is to reduce your window of eating down from 16 hours to maybe 8 or 10. It's a lot harder to fit all your calories in that time frame. That's why fasting is super good. There are a lot of people out there, mums and dads, that are so busy they don't eat breakfast anyway, so you kind of are fasting already. So if you can handle it, great. It's a good little tool to maintain calorie loss, fat loss and maintain your calories. So I would start off with maybe an 8-hour or 12-hour fast. And then if you feel like you can get to 14 or 16, then have a crack. But sometimes we've got to be mindful that there'll be big energy dips, especially when you're first starting out. People, normally get headaches because of withdrawals and things like that. So just be mindful of it. But again, it's a tool. It's an absolute tool for fat loss. Glenn, morning, mate. Is more protein than the 200 mark bad for me? Sorry if you answered it. No, it's a great question, dude. I have answered it before, but I'll answer it again. More protein is not bad for you, but it's calories, mate. We've got to remember. So if you're aiming for 200 grams of protein per day and you can get it but with your 2,000 calories, great. But for example, some people can add in egg whites and cottage cheese, bits and pieces, and up their protein intake, so they get the 200 before their calories. So yeah, if you get to 1,800 and you've got 200 grams of protein in, you don't really have to continue eating. But for me, just remember, extra protein is extra calories regardless. So hopefully that answers your question. What's a good calorie tracking app that doesn't cost money? Yeah, Dino, MyFitnessPal definitely is really good, mate. It does have a subscription if you want to do a few little extra bits and pieces, but it's pretty good for the free version. So that's the one that I'd be using. You'll learn about that in week 5 and week 6 if you start watching the videos. So yeah, definitely. So hopefully that answers the question. And good segue into the next one. How much protein should I be eating to build muscle? Not just build muscle, but fat loss as well. We want to aim for about 1.5 to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of, and now this is the operative word, target body weight. Okay, so if you are, round figures, 150 kilos and you want to get to, say, 90, we should be aiming for 180 grams to 200 grams of protein per day, not 300 grams. Okay, it's extra protein is extra calories. So hopefully that makes sense. So yeah, aiming for the 1.5 to 2 grams per day is pretty much spot on, and try and get it from as much sort of natural sources of protein as possible. And then top yourself up with a little bit of a supplement like a protein powder to get to that target. Okay, we're not eating like a bodybuilder, we're eating for fat loss. We want to just be able to maintain a decent physique underneath when we start losing fat, because we're lifting weights at the same time. What are the healthiest fats to include in my diet? Like, I don't like the word what's the healthiest. What are good fats? I think avocados, nuts, seeds, olive oil, they're good. Really, really good. Omega-3s from fish is really good for the brain health, joint health. We just got to try and stay away from the trans fats, because they're the ones that are probably not as good for our body. It's the same as the carbs. Fat doesn't make you fat. Overeating calories makes you fat. Okay, simple as that. We need carbs. We need fats. Hey, Dan, how are you, mate? Should I be taking supplements, and if so, which ones? Yeah, for me, it would be protein powder is probably one of the best supplements that we can that I would recommend you to top up your protein intake if you're struggling, because you get a very low calorie and high protein ratio. The next thing would be maybe a multivitamin if you're not eating enough fresh fruit and vegetables, just as a backup plan. That's all it is. Okay. It's not to get your main source of vitamins and minerals from it. It's just a backup plan for that reason. Fish oil tablets are good if you don't eat enough omega-3s, but always consult with your doctor or something like that. You might have a deficiency in iron and you might have to take a supplement for that. So maybe the good thing is to get a blood check every 12 months if you can. But the only ones I wouldn't be looking for is fat burners and fat loss pills and all those types of things. They don't. The only thing they hurt is your back pocket. So be mindful of those. Is it okay to have cheat meals, or will they ruin my progress? Look, again, cheat meals is probably a bad term to use because it's a negative connotation. They are high-calorie foods, high-calorie meals, and I think they're very important in a fat loss or muscle-building journey. You want to reward yourself for the hard work, and you don't want to deny yourself from the foods you love. I like donuts. I absolutely love donuts. I just find a way of making sure that I can eat them without going over my calories. So it's totally fine to have them, okay? If you feel like on the weekend you need to have a blowout, I would back off my breakfast and lunch and just have a lighter breakfast and lighter lunch and calorie bank for that night. So maybe you saved yourself, say, 600 calories, and your dinners, maybe you've got 700 already allocated. So therefore you have around about 1,300 calories that you can play around with, which is a decent meal, burger and chips or pizzas or whatever's your vice. So I think cheat meals are a very important part of fat loss. So you can definitely make sure that you are having the foods that you really, really enjoy. So you're working up to them. How much water should I be drinking daily? Look, I think a rule of thumb is around about 2.5 to 3 liters is ideal. Now, I know it's difficult for some people out there because I talk a lot about in the kickoff call about how much water we should be having. Now, if you're only averaging 1 liter of water today, it's going to be a lot harder to get to 3. So I wanted you to go from 1 to 2 as a small adjustment. But 3 liters is about the bang mark, which is really, really good. 4 liters is even better. What it's going to do is hydrate, help you push all your nutrients around your body, make your skin feel nice and beautiful, good for recovery. And it's also good for your steps because you've got to get up and pee all the time. So there's absolutely awesome benefits in terms of how much water you should be drinking. A good rule of thumb is if your pee's kind of pale yellow to clear, you've got enough water in your system. So I want to make sure that that's something that we think about. How do I manage sugar cravings without sabotaging my process? Add the things that you love into your meal plan, i.e. if you like chocolate, don't go without. Just add a couple of squares of Cadbury chocolate to a protein pudding or something like that, so you have your hit. Okay, small pieces of dark chocolate are really good antioxidants in there, some very good fats. But just balance your meals with fresh fruit. Like fresh fruits are great for sugar cravings. 0 calorie soft drinks are great for sugar cravings and things like that. So yeah, just most of the time when you have a craving for something, you're bored eating, or you're actually dehydrated and you need to drink. So be mindful of it. Find the triggers. Definitely find the triggers. Dan, what's the story with fruit other than bananas on the meal plan? Is it allowed, and what do you recommend and included in tracking? I heard you said watermelon once, I think. Yeah, definitely, Dan. Watermelon is a great fruit in terms of very low calories, lots of fiber, and you can eat like a massive bowl of it, like 200 or 300 grams, and it's only about 100 calories. So we've got to be, track it if you feel like you need to, mate. But if you're not having a banana and you're going to have watermelon, just have around the same sort of calorie mark. If it's 150 calories for a banana, let's just make sure we're having around the same for watermelon. Berries are a very low calorie fruit as well. But mate, it doesn't matter what type of fruit you eat as long as you have some, okay? Because there's a lot of fiber in fruit. That's the one thing that's lacking in most people's diets, is enough fiber to counteract the protein. Hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, and again, with the meal plan, Dan, it's hard for us to accommodate for everyone, because I had someone ask the other day, what about dragon fruit? Yeah, 100%. It's like, but how can I prescribe dragon fruit on a meal plan when it's not a normal thing that people eat? So we try and make it about as basic as possible, but you substitute it with the foods that you love. The same as with vegetables. If you don't like certain vegetables, don't eat them. Just have the ones that you like. How many days a week should I lift weights? Okay, I think, in my opinion, 3 days a week is the ideal kind of area for fat loss. Okay. 3 days is achievable. 2 days you could probably get away with in terms of if you have 2 decent full body sessions, but I think 3 would be better. Spacing them out is not necessary. You can do 3 in a row and then have 4 rest days, or you can do 1 rest day, 2 rest day, 3 rest day. It's not a problem. You're welcome, Dan. So, yeah, so 3 days a week. Rest days are essential for muscle recovery. Okay, I think that's the unsung hero. If you're prescribed a rest day, have it. Okay, don't go out and start lifting again if you don't need to. But full body sessions are probably the best in terms of bang for buck. You can get into the gym, do an hour session, hit most of your body parts 3 times a week in 3 sessions. It's very, very beneficial if you're time poor. So the happy medium is kind of 3 days a week, I reckon. You could probably get away with 2, but 3 would be better. Do I need a personal trainer, or can I follow online workouts? Okay, if you've never been to a gym before, it would be very handy to have a session with a personal trainer just so you can get shown how to lift properly and how to use all the machinery. I would strongly advise that. I think that's super important. If you're confident in the gym and you know how to lift, getting a program from an online coach like myself will definitely help you out in terms of giving you structure and some form of discipline in the gym. So yeah, like you can pretty much get a program from anywhere these days. But if you don't know how to lift properly, you're wasting your time. So I think for me, if you're just starting out and you join the gym, most gyms offer you 1 or 2 free PT sessions anyway. That's just part of the deal if they don't ask for it. And then just ask them to show you around the gym, show you each individual machine, and that'll give you an idea of how to use it properly. Form is king. Lifting properly is king. If you lift properly and you enjoy the lift, you'll come back and do it again. If it hurts because you're doing it wrong, you won't be coming back. How can I improve my flexibility and mobility as I age? Actually stretching every day is probably the key. Not necessarily just doing stretching before or after your workouts. It's every day. I think over the age of 40, it's a lot harder for us to recover quick. So we do need some form of stretching or mobility to keep our muscles moving. If you don't have a foam roller, buy one. They're very, very good for really getting into those tight areas that are hurting each and every single day. Yoga, Pilates, and mobility app are very, very good. But actually, like spending 10, 15, 20 minutes a day in front of the TV, if you have to, just to iron out the creases, is going to be hugely beneficial for your recovery and also getting up the next day. If you skip it, you're going to feel like the old Tin Man off The Wizard of Oz the next day, right? We get out of bed and we're moving like this. Is weight training more important than cardio for fat loss? Yeah, 100%. I think it is the GOAT. Weight training is the GOAT for fat loss. Okay, so what we want with some form of resistance training is to build muscle. The more muscle we have, the more fuel we need in our body, and the less likely we are to put on weight because our body needs those the protein and nutrients to build. Excuse me. So weight training is really important for your metabolism. Cardio is great for heart health, and that's why it's called cardiovascular cardio. Okay, so it's very good for the mindset and for your heart health. So we're not doing cardio for fat loss; we're doing cardio for aerobic. Okay, to build up a stronger heart. So lifting weights helps you burn more calories as well, even at rest, because again, as I said, your body has got more muscle on it, so it needs more time to rest. So yeah, skipping leg day is not going to help you. It's probably the best one to do. What's the best way to strengthen my core? Actually work on it, I think, is probably the best answer. Planks, mountain climbers, crunches, leg raises are a really good way to start. Don't forget that your core is not just your abs; it's your lower back and your lower back and your obliques as well. Some form of unilateral work is very good. What I mean by unilateral is single leg. So if you do, say, for example, single leg squats or single leg RDLs, it helps you balance your core. They're very, very good. Compound exercises like squats, like presses, like deadlifts are very good because they actually you have to use your core and you're working really hard to do them. So they're very, very, very good. So just be mindful that you are using your core through most exercises these days anyway. So you're getting a bit of a workout, but you've got to specifically target your core if you really want to work hard on it. Okay. Should I be focusing on heavy weights or lighter weights with more reps? Again, it depends on your goals. For strength, go heavy with fewer reps. For endurance, go lighter with more reps. That's probably the best way to answer that question. I like to mix things up. I like to do maybe 4 weeks of heavy and then go for like a 4-week cycle of endurance based. I don't want to get big. I just want to get strong. So yeah, the whole idea is don't get too heavy too soon, because ego comes into play a fair bit and we don't want to lift with our ego. How can I build muscle without gaining weight? I think we've pretty much answered that question. Having a high protein diet is super important to make sure that we have our guts filled all the time with proper nutrients that are going to benefit us while we're lifting weights. Okay. Stay in your calorie deficit / maintenance. If we want to get bigger, we have to eat in a surplus, which means more food. Tracking your progress is really, really important. And remembering that muscle is more dense than fat. Okay. They weigh the same. It's just muscle is a kilo of muscle might be this big and a kilo of fat might be that big, but it's just muscle is more dense than fat. Okay. So it's not saying, I've put on a ton of weight because muscle's bigger than fat. It weighs more than fat. It's more dense than fat. They weigh the same. What exercises are best for improving posture? Rows, planks, sitting like I am right now with my posture upright are very, very good. Stretching, especially shoulders for posture. A lot of people do not have a very good shoulder mobility, so hence why they're very much hunched, because of the old phone neck and phone shoulders. So keeping your shoulders back, making yourself look taller, gives you a bit of confidence as well. How long should my workouts be for optimal results? I think 45 to an hour 10 is optimal. Okay. If you're going for any longer than that, you're wasting probably time. You're talking too much or you're on your phone. So stick to your sets and your waiting time or your rest time in between. If it says 45 seconds, stick to 45 seconds a minute, and then you'll be able to get it in and out pretty quickly. How much cardio should I do each week? The good sort of rule of thumb is about 150 minutes of moderate cardio, so walking. If you're doing 10,000 steps a day, you're doing a little bit more than that per week, which is good. But I think finding the cardio that you like doing will make you do a little bit more cardio. Okay, brisk walks and normal walks are probably the best form of cardio that you can have. Low impact, great for the heart, great for the mindset, which is really, really important. But if I like to say maybe 1 or 2 sort of high intensity sessions per week are really good. So like a 20-minute AMRAP or a sprint session or something like that are very, very good to mix it up a little bit. But yeah, definitely, 150 minutes or so a day is pretty good. A week of moderate cardio is pretty good. What is better for fat loss? Steady state cardio or HIIT? 100% steady state cardio. I'm not going to argue or go any further with that one. I think it's been proven. A mix of variety is good, but I think steady state in the long run is more sustainable for people that are bigger, that are trying to lose weight. Okay. If we are 150 kilos and you want to go and do a HIIT class, you're going to be probably injuring yourself because your joints are going to be fucked from all that weight and pressure coming up and down on your knees and your elbows and shoulders. So just be mindful of it. Don't do sort of HIIT stuff until you're at a weight where you feel like you could probably run for, say, 5Ks. And then we'll be looking at doing a HIIT class then, because you'll be able to endure it. How can I make cardio more enjoyable? Do the cardio that makes you happy. Don't run if you don't like running. Don't cycle if you don't like cycling. Don't swim if you don't like swimming. Do it with a buddy. Find someone that you can run or walk or swim or cycle with. Do it in a group. Listen to a podcast, audio books, killer playlists, anything like that. That's motivation. Your kids, your dog, is doing the stuff that you enjoy doing will get you back to do it more often. Okay, absolutely will. What's the best cardio for workout for joint health? Yeah, okay, so low impact swimming, cycling are good. Elliptical machines are really good. Rowing machines are pretty good. Anything that stops you from having an impact on your knees, shoulders, hips are very, very good. How important is rest and recovery in between workouts? Probably more important than the workout sometimes. Your muscles grow when you rest. So if you're not having adequate rest, you're not giving your muscles enough time to recover and grow. The growth doesn't happen in the gym. That's when the fibers are torn apart. The growth happens when you're resting at home, when they got time to recover and build. So if you've got 2, 3, 4 rest days per week, please take them. They've been given to you for a reason. Active recovery is good, like yoga or mobility or walking. It's quite good. It's not putting too much strain on your muscles, but it's a maintenance day. It's not a attack your body day. So give yourself time to recover. What are the signs I'm overtraining? The good ones are constant fatigue, irritability, a bit more angrier than usual, difficulty sleeping, exhausted all the time, your performance level at the gym's declining, even though you're pushing yourself. They're probably the best signs that you're overtraining. Aches and pains that are lingering longer. It's kind of like your body waving a red flag saying, hey, it's time to stop or slow down. So listen to your body, guys, especially if you're over 40. As I said at the start, it's really hard for us to recover quicker. In our 20s, we could go and play, 5 games of soccer on a weekend and then get up and do it again on a Sunday and then do it again on a Monday. But now that we're 40, it's a lot harder for us to recover quicker. So being mindful that rest days are just as important as lifting days. How much sleep do I need for optimal recovery? Look, the hard part for me is to sit here and say you must get 7 to 9 hours sleep a day, because I've had young kids. I know what it's like to be sleep deprived. Get as much as you can get, okay? I think I'm going to be probably ridiculed for this, but get as much as you can get. If you can only get 5 hours sleep, but try and get 5 solid hours sleep, okay? I know it's not easy to do. I get mainly 7 hours a night, sometimes 6, depending if I'm working or if I'm pushing myself to get up a bit earlier for the gym. But 7 is kind of like a sweet spot. 8, I feel really good if I do get 8 hours. I can see the difference. But optimal recovery that's been proven scientifically is 7 to 9 hours sleep per night. Again, when you've got young kids or you're running a business or you're super busy, I understand, but try and aim for as much as you can. It'll definitely help you. What are the best ways to reduce muscle soreness after a workout? Again, mobility work, foam rolling, stretching, hydration, and food, like adequate food, right food, are very, very good. Swimming, active recovery is good. If you've got foam rollers, jump on those. Massages are great. Saunas, cold baths are really good. Even cold showers are great for shocking your body and for recovery. So just embrace the soreness, right? It just means you're getting stronger. Last question. How can I improve my sleep quality to aid recovery? Okay. The research that I've been doing shows that a consistent sleep schedule, i.e. when you go to sleep and when you wake up, are very beneficial. Limiting screen time before you go to bed is good for your eyes and your brain, so you can wind down a bit. Having your room dark and a temperature you like. Again, it's hard because if you're like me and you've got your wife in the bed next to you and she's a sauna, and it's hard to stay cool. So just trying to keep your optimal conditions. Try not to have caffeine too late in the day. Doesn't work for me. I can have a coffee before I go to bed and still have a good sleep. But they're things that I would be looking at to improve my sleep quality. Okay, try and be consistent. It's going to be hugely beneficial, but getting as much sleep as possible, like I said before. Okay, plenty of water too is really, really good. All right, that's all for Q&A for today. Hopefully I've answered some of your questions. If I didn't, I'm just going to have a quick skim through. I answered all the guys, none in the girls. Thanks, Dan. You're welcome, dude. Appreciate your input today. Yeah, that's it. So if you do have any questions for me, please send me a DM. I'll be more than happy to answer it later on. Maybe even do a reel or a live video or something later on and answer your question. But have a great day, guys. Enjoy the rest of the week. It's only Tuesday, so hopefully you've really looked into what type of goals you want to set for the rest of the year. It's important to have, especially if it's fat loss, not too big of a goal, not aiming for, hey, I want to lose 10 kilos in 2 weeks. That ain't going to happen. Let's be mindful of it. Let's be strategic in trying to aim for that 0.5 kilo a week and be really consistent. That's going to be benefiting you in the long run. So